Okay, so today I'm gonna be solving this 5 to 5 problem, contiguous array. Very interesting problem. I solved it basically like I didn't solve it. I probably looked up the solution like 3 years ago, like even 4 years ago, and now I checked it again, and I was not able to come up with a solution. I checked everything. I checked DP. I checked sliding window. I checked virtually everything, and then I looked up the solution. I was like, oh wow, that's something really new, and I forgot how to do that. And the submissions like 4 years ago, so I guess it was a nice problem to try your skills and then like to memorize the pattern that's used here. Definitely will keep it under my belt, this technique. I saw a couple of tasks that were solved this way, but I didn't even consider to try it. So the idea is to have a balance of 0 and 1. So say we have this, the idea is like we need to find a contiguous array, contiguous meaning without gaps. So the number of zeros and ones is the same in this contiguous array, and I need to figure out what the maximum length of this contiguous array with the same number of 0 and 1s. So if I do here like this subarray is contiguous, number of 0 and 1s the same, like number of 0 is 1, number of 1s is 1, but I can do better here. So if I consider this subarray, it has a length of 6, and it has like the same number of 1s 3, and the same number of like 0 also 3. So the answer is like the maximum length of the contiguous subarray. So the idea is basically to have a balance of ones and zeros. So whenever you see a 1, you increment it by 1, and whenever you see a 0, you decrement the balance by 1. So initially, when you started tracking, here you have like let's draw something. Right, where's right? This one. So I already draw something there. Let's start from any page. So let's say we have here indexes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. And then the values 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and then 0, 0, 0. So in this case, 0 gonna be decrement the balance by 1, and 1 gonna increment the balance. In this case, I have, let's say, this line 0. So I have 0 now, so I decrement by 1. So I start from 0 and I decrement by 1. And then I have 1 and I increment by 1. And you see that the balance now is like 0. And it seems like the length is like 2 longest something that has the same number of zeros and ones. And let's consider next one. So like I have 1, so increment by 1. Next one is 1, also increment by 1. So we have here 1, here 2. The next one is also 1, so increment by 1. 3. So next one is also 1, so increment by 1. Have 4. Next I'm gonna go decrement by 1. So I go down. So I have now 3. And the question is like, have I seen 3 before as a value? Yeah. And if I have seen it, what was the index when I saw that? So this one 0, 1, 2. Oh, this is -1 index. This is 0. This is 1. This is 2. This is 3. This is 4. This is 5. This is 6. So on 6 we got a value 3, and I look up what was the first index that had a value 3, and like if I have this point, it means that in between whatever like curve we had, the number, if we arrive to the same point, it means that the path that was up, all this like passes that were like for the upward movement gonna be cancelled by the downward movements, and then the downward movement is basically zeros, number of zeros, and the upward movement is number of ones. So so they are gonna, if this number is the same, it means that all these upward movements were cancelled by downward movement, and it means like, okay, number of ones and zeros is the same on this interval, and I should just record the distance and make sure it's a maximum. So whenever, let's say I have 3, let's say go up and then go down again to 3, and then go down, up and go down, and then the first index of 3 was like say 1, and the second one index of say 5, and then the third one gonna be 8. So in this case, if I see 3 multiple times, I don't update the index because I wanna know the first index, because I wanna know the maximum length of this contiguous sequence. Yeah, so in this case, I see that, so we have like index 0, like value 0, index -1, value -1, index 0, value 1, index value 0, I don't overwrite it, so it stays -1, value 2, value 1, index 2, value 2 gonna be index 3, value 4, index value 3, index 4, value, so this is 3, value 4, index 5. So here I have a value 3 now, and I look up in the hash map for this first index for the value, and the value 3 has like 4 and currently at 6. So I just subtract 6 minus 4 and record the distance as 2. And then next I gonna I see another 0, so value becomes 2. Now I check the hash map. Okay, in hash map we already had the value 2 at index 1, and now we are at the value 2 at index 3 was, and we are now at index 7, so it's gonna be 7 minus 3, and it's gonna be yeah, it's gonna be just 7 minus 3, and that's gonna be 4. So the maximum length is increasing, and the next one is 0 again. So I decrement the value in 1. It's the value now is 1, and I look up in the hash map, and did I see a value 1 before? Yes, and the index for value 1 is like 2. The current index is like 8. So we do 8 minus 6. 8 minus 2 is equal 6, and this is going to be the maximum one. Okay, and this is going to be the solution for this problem. So I'm gonna have this hash map for the first occurrence of the value. I'm gonna initially put a value 0 at index -1. So whenever like I have like repeating like 0 value, I'm gonna have like just correct like setup, and then I'm gonna iterate it and then use hash map in order to figure out, okay, have I seen this value before? And if I saw this value before, that means that, okay, the current number of zeros and like ones cancel each other, so like I come back to the same value I saw it in the past. No, it means like the number of zeros in a ones in this range, or like in this subsequence is the same, and I should record the length and check if it's like the maximum length for the subsegment, or like, yeah. So I'm gonna be solving in Swift. So I'll have this var map as a dictionary, and I'm gonna push the -1 and then 0. Oh, value is 0 and then -1. Let me just code it in a. So here I was trying to solve it with dp. Let me remove that. So have this dictionary. So var map is equal. So the first value is going to be 0, and then the index of it is going to be -1. Can I push it? Say return -1. Okay. And then for that's nice. I and then num, and then in nums enumerated, I'm gonna go check if num is equal to 0. I'm gonna gonna have this balance is equal 0, and then if num is equal to 0, I'm gonna have this balance minus equal 1, and else I'm gonna increment the balance plus equal 1, and then I'm gonna check if I saw that balance before. If m dot balance if let val is equal m balance, and this one gonna be the first index. Then I'm gonna have updated this length var ras is equal 0, and then the result gonna be max between ras and then I minus first index, and then I gonna else m balance gonna be equal index I, and then I'm gonna return the result. Seems like this. So if I wrap this function, let's check it out. Okay, passing, and then here is passing. Okay, so that's it.